Okay, there we are. So yeah, so another way to say this is, my friends and I went spearfishing, or my four friends and I went spearfishing. So that would be um, kind of a better way to say that. It's just more natural instead of saying consisting. Um, so that's would be better. Uh-huh. So that's a huge catch that you got. Is that just yours that you caught?
It's only mine. It's only
Only
mine.
only
Yes.
yours. Okay.
And the same quantity, about the same quantity, was in my friend, my fellow underwater fellow.
Mhm. Right. I see. Okay. S-
During 55 or 1 hour a minute, 1 hour,
Right.
55 minutes or 1 hour.
Hmm.
It was one of the quickest spearfishing in this year, exactly.
Right. Okay. So yeah, so it was one of the quickest spearfishing. Um, right. So when you say you were only spearfishing for 50 minutes, is that what you're saying? How long did you go spearfishing?
Uh, how long? 45 or 50 minutes.
Minutes. Uh-huh.
Yes.
So so it only took 45
Yes.
minutes to get all those
Yes.
fish. Um,
Um, if people say yesterday we both were in proper place in proper time.
uh-huh. Huh. I see.
Is it
Definitely.
correct?
Yeah, proper time, the proper or good space, or good location would be better. So that would be a little better. So yeah, so what you can say is, it only took 45 minutes to catch the fish. Um, that's how you could say that. Um, we were in a good location, right?
In a
Um,
proper location,
yeah,
yes.
a good location. We were in a good location. Right.
Um, I would say in a bit another way. Maybe we both mm, could uncover the best location in that river.
Sure.
Un Uncover,
Discover, maybe. We we
discover.
both we both discovered. We both
Uh,
discovered.
uh,
Huh?
see, uncover. Uh, we seek we was seeking a good place
Right.
and we can we could uncover this
Uh-huh.
rare
Sure. I know what you're saying. Yeah. Uncover. I think it's discover or find.
discover.
Yeah. I think either way. Um, I understand you, and people would understand what you're saying. Definitely. So, so there was five of you and four of your friends, and everybody
Uh,
caught all those fish?
and three my friends,
For your
and
friends.
three my
Okay, there was
friends.
four of you.
Yes.
Okay. So everybody caught that many fish?
Mm, everybody. It was our summary group catch,
I see.
we shared among others
Mhm.
persons, among
Among
other friends.
among ourselves.
Yes,
Um,
in a fair way, only a fair way.
right.
Uh,
Uh,
for for um, uh, four equally parts of catch.
Among ourselves, right. So equally. We shared it equally among ourselves. Right. Well, that's great. Well, that's a
Four equally and fair bunches.
sure.
Mhm.
Yeah, if you say equally, it's usually fair. Everyone got basically the same amount. We should, so yeah, excellent. Well, it looks like a great activity. So, okay, good. Now
Health activity.
uh-huh,
And that I got one of the um, on of the little fish.
mhm.
You know why?
Why is that?
Because I have mm, no standard and so little fridge in my flat. And I
Was mhm,
I see and was sizing by my eyes real size of that fish, which I what I uh, wanted to get with me and change the true decision yesterday.
mhm. Right, definitely.
All my fish in the fridge.
To the refrigerator, right, to the refrigerator. Definitely. Good, and you could say, "Yeah, I have a" you have a little refrigerator, I have a small refrigerator, that would be just another way to say that. Okay, excellent. Alright, so let's get this. I sent you these questions, so let's take a look at this topic. I know it's gonna be a little different for you, but maybe in the future, this might be very important of discussing stages of culture shock. Right. So, um, yeah. So read aloud. What are the goals for our lesson here?
I can define what culture shock is and summarize its main stages. I can talk about an experience I've had in another country using a range of vocabulary.
Right. So the word summarize.
Summarize.
Right. Okay. Good. Okay. So how would you define culture shock?
Oh, culture shock. How long do you think culture shock generally lasts? Ah, okay, I got it. Mm, Maybe uh, uh, now we all have different mm, different ways for getting information. Instagram and other social networkings.
Right.
Mm, Not television as it was 10 or 15 years ago. And this, I think, the new culture trends mm, uh, are created there
Right. Online. Right.
by the biggest capitalists.
Uh, That's true. By the biggest companies, definitely. Um, right. Now we're thinking about like in this lesson, we're thinking about you not being online, but moving to another country here. So, with culture shock, in some ways, one way to think about it is basically, people do different things, that people do things differently than you do in your country, whether it's different food, different ways to go shopping, different ways to socialize, different languages. So basically, you know, people do things differently than you do in your home country where you're used to. So if you're moving to another country, how long do you think culture shock generally lasts?
Yes, we all grow. We all grown up.
Uh-huh,
Was growing up in our own culture area, so that all uh, all societies
uh-huh,
society uh, societies have their proper culture code,
mhm,
so that in the Turkey when we arrived to the Turkey in not a big town city.
mhm,
We definitely can get a culture shock there, and
mhm.
they mm, when they been in our little village, the littlest
Mhm.
villages, they too get
Right.
culture shock.
Definitely. You go from a small village to a big city.
Yes.
That culture shock, even if you're not
Yeah.
leaving the country. So true. That definitely
You
is.
know, Robert,
Hmm.
in our the littlest village, mm, people, almost all people live not in the 21 once
Right.
century.
The 21st
Only
century. Uh-huh.
the century for only the 19th century.
Sure.
It's very bad. It's very
Uh,
bad, and
right.
people all they works papers do without mechanic cars,
Sure.
only their uh, hands,
Sure.
legs,
Right. So they don't use it.
some
They're not using new
some
tools.
yes, yes,
Right.
very primitive tools they
Right.
use.
Right. Definitely. Okay, good. So let me help you here a little bit with this here. So now you said something like this. Let me put it here. Um, we was grown up in our culture area. Now I know what you mean, but in some ways, what you would say is uh, we have grown up in our culture, right? That would be better. So we wouldn't say something like this. We was grown up, but we have grown up in our culture, definitely. Um, so
Can I say in another way, we all were growing up in our culture, growing. No,
no, we wouldn't use the verb to be like were. We would use have. It's the uh, present perfect. So we use have instead of were or the verb to be. So no, you can't really say that. It was not grammatically correct. Right. So good. Now here, another thing here, just a little bit, 21st century. Hmm. That's not 21. Just now, I understood, but it sounds better. 21st century. And it's backward. When you're talking about the small villages and it during the 19th century, it's kind of backward, right? They don't use new tools. They don't, so yeah, they don't have the nice, new facilities, nice. Mhm. So it's backward compared to the rest of the country or the world. Right. Hmm. So if you move to another, just get back to the question. So if you moved to another country, how long do you think culture shock lasts generally? So if you move to the US, how long do you think it would take you to adjust? Just
It's a
guess.
very interesting question because
Oh,
I've never been abroad
sure.
yet. But it seems to me now that
Mhm,
how long, maybe 2 or 3 months,
mhm,
it,
mhm.
it will be last
Sure.
2 or 3 months.
Right. So it depends. So yeah, it depends maybe. Okay, good. So let's take a look at 4 stages of culture shock. So I want you to read A and see, put them in order from the first stage to the second, the last stage. Okay. So read the first one aloud here.
Belonging. In this final stage, people are able to live comfortably in the host culture. They have adapted to their new way of life. Feelings of loneliness and isolation are gone and replaced with a sense of belonging. O B
So what do you
and
think this one? Do you think this is the first stage, second stage, or third stage? You think?
uh, zero is writing that is the final stage.
So you think it's the fourth one? Okay, good.
Yes.
All right, good. So let me help you with some before you move forward. So this word is isolation.
Hmm.
Isolation.
Isola- Isolation.
Right. So loneliness and isolation. Okay, good. Now B. Read B aloud.
Mm. Uh, anxiety,
Anxiety.
anxiety.
Mhm.
Hmm. Usually starts 3 months after living in a new culture. Differences between the old and new culture become more apparent, causing anxiety in some. Feelings of an excitement and fascinating might be replaced with frustration and anger. People often feel lonely and homesick. Huh. Honeymoon exhaustion. But maybe the first, it
Okay, maybe.
for the first category
Okay, the first stage. So yeah,
stage.
these are stages. Mhm. Okay, so you think it's A. All right, let's go C. Read C. Number one.
See, honeymoon. In the first few months, the differences between the old and new culture are viewed in a romantic light. Most people in this stage are fascinated by the new culture. They might like in food that the pace of life and habits of the locals. I was wrong. it's it's the first. C
Okay.
is the first stage and mm, the
Okay.
first stage.
Uh-huh.
Mm.
Okay. I like your reading too. Very animated and passionate. So okay, good. And
Uh,
and then D.
and the adjusting. People in this stage start getting used to the differences and develop routines. Most people in this stage know what to accept in a different situation. Things starts to feel normal again, and many people accept the culture's differences with a positive attitude.
Okay.
Attitude.
Good. And
Mhm.
um good. So good correction with differences. Excellent. So what stage is this?
Adjusting. Uh, 1 second. Mm, just maybe it must be on the on the fourth
No, it would be
stage.
with
No?
these stages here. So we have the first one's honeymoon, right? First few months. So first few months, right? And then anxiety starts about 3 months after living, right? And then people adjust. They get used to differences, right? And then finally,
Is it correct or order?
so
C,
it's CBDEA.
is it correct?
Yes,
Yes.
it's this is correct. Mhm. Right. So yeah, so honeymoon, anxiety, adjusting, belonging. This is some
Okay.
theories of stages of culture shock. Right.
I think not all people have this stage in their
Sure.
ed-
Sure.
belonging.
Sure. Sure. It usually depends on the differences in culture. If it's extremely different from where you're from, it could be different stages can last longer. Some can be skipped. Right. Okay. So were you surprised by any of the texts looking at that? Were you surprised by any?
In previous time.
Yeah, in this previous text. Uh-huh.
Mm, I wasn't be surprised.
I wasn't
Uh,
surprised. Uh-huh.
I wasn't surprised when I wrote it, but because I felt I felt that I've knew and seen it before in my life.
Uh-huh. Okay. Moving from a small town to a big town to a small town. Right. So
Yes.
I know the answer to this, but you never been
Uh,
outside
of my country,
Ukrainian.
never, never,
Yeah.
never. However, I want I wanna about this fact about me.
Sure.
I've never been abroad yet.
Hmm.
However, in, I I I can hold as inner immigrant. I removed many times from city to town and backwards.
Right. But yeah,
I live
definitely.
in Kiev, in Chernihiv region, now in Vinnytsia region,
Right.
in Nizhyn, so that uh, maybe I in almost in all places which I change in my life,
Right.
cho- uh, chose in my life, um, very comfortable for me.
Right. So yeah. So all the places that you've moved to that you've chosen, um, I feel comfortable. Okay, good. Now, let me give you a little bit of just vocabulary, what you're saying. I understood what you're saying here, but you could say something like this. So, uh, I have the experience of moving from a big city to a small town, right? So,
Backward and backward.
right. Okay, good. So that's where we might talk about some of your experience, but let's look at some vocabulary first. So
Oh,
the first
homesick. I
homesick,
know it.
A, B, C, or
It's
D, E. Which one?
uh, I'm homesick because my all clothes. the closest relatives are um, mm, in a not available distance for me now. It's
Sure.
very bad.
I know. I know.
Um,
Now, which
Homesick.
definition do you think? Uh-huh.
Maybe C, being unhappy because you away from your home.
Perfect.
Homesick.
Two, frustration.
Frustration.
Now,
To
just one
adjust.
thing, we only have 10 more minutes for the recording. So after recording, we can go to meet when we normally do, but go ahead. Frustration, number two.
Maybe D, adjust yourself in different situation.
Hmm,
Uh,
not that.
E, annoyed because you can achieve. Mm, parent. E, correct?
E, yeah,
E. Isolation. Uh,
isolation.
Isolation. The feeling of being alone, uh,
Exactly.
unhappy.
Mhm.
A parent, obvious, clearly, visibly, or not understood. Adapt to D, to adjust yourself in different situations.
Right,
Adjust.
right. Okay, good. So you told me about being homesick. Are you able to easily to adapt to new situations?
In new hard situation.
Yeah,
Sometimes yes, sometimes no. It depends on what situation
sure.
I uh, I uh, I I face in front
Right.
of me.
All right, so
I
give me
I,
an
I
example. Can you give me an example?
mm, speaking with police, for example,
Huh?
with bad military guys, for example.
Uh-huh.
From time to time, we can get different speaking with these people, with this mm, uh, civil servants,
Uh-huh.
maybe.
Right. So using some of the vocabulary. So you said something like this. You said something like this. Now, um, we can get with speaking with these people. We can get what? We can get frustrated. We can get what? We can
We
get,
can
you could say we can get frustrated
frustrated, frustrated uh,
with
with
speaking
speaking.
with, yeah, when speaking, when,
When speaking, when you speaking with them.
right, right, right. So that's what you could say there.
As a rule, Robert,
Mhm.
they almost always bring sad, fear, scary with them.
Sure. Mhm. Right. Definitely. Uh, yeah, they're bureaucrats and they're, um, yes, and it's a
Regret,
terrible
regret.
time currently
Yes.
being so good. All right, excellent. So read a
But
go ahead.
all of them have uh, their civil weapons,
Civil servants. Oh, guns. Yeah, gotcha.
guns,
Gun.
guns.
Right. Um, yes. Well, they have power then, unfortunately. Yes. Okay. Now read aloud these two sentences.
I feel a sense of belonging here. I am fascinated by Icelandic culture.
Good. Icelandic culture. So,
Uh,
mhm.
saying honestly, I don't know about Icelandic culture,
Me
but
neither. Me neither.
it sounds very interesting and fascinating for me now.
Exactly. Exactly. So me too. Okay. So tell me, where do you feel a sense of belonging?
Well,
Yeah, where?
I don't know, maybe. Um, in maybe in all in all places where I can be after a little time after being after being
After
uh,
being
of
after
little after being little time
after being there a little time. So after being there
being
a little,
there a little time. So thank you.
yeah, after being there a little time, after being there a little bit, right? Uh, okay. And what are you fascinated by? Anything?
New culture, uh, new different from me culture
Hmm.
and which I haven't uh, faced, haven't seen before.
Right. Okay.
I like wondering. I like wondering such things.
Hmm. Definitely.
New people, you know, every person uh, have they have his own inner world
Mhm.
and wishes, goals, mm, and well, and so on and so forth.
Sure. Sure.
So,
Definitely.
so that as for me, it's sometimes very interesting
Sure.
when I
Definitely.
have a good mood.
When you're in a good mood. Uh-huh.
Yes,
Definitely.
very good
Okay.
mood.
Good. All right. So we have phrases here. So we have three categories: positive, negative, or both. So number one, read it. Tell me what do you think?
I was surprised when boss.
Uh-huh.
I was surprised when I saw some unbelievable things,
Right. So
fascinating
both.
things.
Right. Now, okay, good.
Yes,
Number two.
it made me unhappy. That unhappy, negative, oh, always
Mhm.
negative. I was frustrated when positive.
Hmm. I was
No,
frustrated.
one
So
second.
if you don't if you don't understand somebody when you're in a different country, you can get frustrated.
Oh, my bad. It's maybe for both category.
Hmm. It's negative.
Negative, only negative.
Yeah, only negative, really. Mhm.
Okay. Uh, it delighted me that delighted. Huh. c- So interesting. I don't know
What you're
what is
feeling. Make a
what
guess.
and enlightened. I was enlightened. I know what is this. What is
Sure.
the I was it delighted.
Uh-huh.
It
It's
says the
similar.
opposite.
No,
Similar.
it's similar. So if it's
Similar.
similar to
Mm,
enlightened means you understand more, delighted mean you're happy. So what do you think?
mm.
Positive, negative, or both?
I think boss.
Sure.
Boss.
Mhm. Right.
uh, uh, I
I was anxious when.
mm, I was anxious when I forgot anxious. What is this?
You think it's positive or negative? Anxious. Hmm,
Mm.
it's
Anxious. Sometimes these feelings as anxious can be very positive.
could be mostly.
However, in most cases, it's negative.
Yeah, right,
It's very unhealthy for everyone.
right.
Negative, only negative.
Okay, good. Now we're gonna lose